Alright, so the next step after this is completely dry, is to put on our cover and our back cover. I'm going to flip it over like this. Okay, so as a reminder, when you set up your cover in the computer, I helped you figure out where to put guides so you know where cover is versus what folds over. So what I want to do is adhere this cover now to the front. This is when you can use the double tack, you can use Studio Tack, and you can use spray mount. I would probably stay away from Studio Tack unless you're really good with it, because you don't want the little white dots along the edge to get on all over your book cloth. But that's what we can use to put this, adhere this down to the cover. I'm going to use double stick tape for the sake of ease, convenience, and speed. Now, one more decision we have to make is how much book cloth do we want showing? If you want a lot of book cloth showing, we have to trim our cover back a little bit. So we're going to trim a little bit off. I don't want to design to compensate for that, however, because we still want whatever the title is and everything to be centered nicely on the page. But if I want, say, 1 inch of book cloth showing, I'm going to trim off 1 inch off of this edge so that it is showing. If I don't want much book cloth showing, I just really kind of want it at the spine, I can pretty much leave it right where it is. I'm going to trim a little bit off because I kind of like the look of a little bit of book cloth, so it's up to you. Of course, do nice measurements for this to make sure it's perfectly even. I'm going to trim it back just a little bit. I'm then going to put my adhesive, whatever I choose to use, spray mount, Studio Tack, Twin Tack, all over the back of it. And I'm going to adhere it to the front cover. Next step is to turn it over, and what we have to do is wrap the front cover around so that we hide the edges of the book board. To do that, we need to trim off the corners, because if we don't, we can't really fold the corners in. It's paper. It's not as flexible as cloth. If it was cloth, that's another story. We can fold it over and in, and then fold the top down. It kind of makes like a present type corner in it. It doesn't work for paper. So what we have to do is trim it off. We want to trim it off at a 45-degree angle. Now, because you probably all don't have triangles and protractors and all that happy fun stuff, I'm going to show you a really easy way to do that. What you do is you take your ruler and you draw a line along the top of the book all the way out to the one side, and then draw a line from the side of the book all the way out to the other side so that you have the corner drawn in, like this. Then what you do is you take your ruler and go diagonally along that, and your ruler helps to form 2 triangles on either side of that square in the corner. Keep moving the ruler around until those 2 triangles are even, and that'll give you a 45-degree angle. And I draw a pencil line across that corner. I'm going to try that again. I'm going to draw a pencil line across that corner. There we go. So now I have this. I'm going to trim that corner off. I'm going to do that for both corners. I'm not going to measure this corner. Alright, so now we have 2 missing corners. Now we can fold this around. So you should already have adhesive around those corners. If the adhesive didn't go out all the way, you can use your double stick tape or the twin tack again, or the double tack again. And you want to put it along the edge. There's a little along there. This is all, by the way, getting covered up by your end page. Your end page hides all the messiness of how the cover goes on and the book cloth and all that stuff. Okay, what you want to do is you want to wrap it around. Same thing as the book cloth, same thing as putting your pages together. You want to pull from the center and then smooth out the edges. Some people like to use bone folders around the corners, around the sides. I find that as long as you pull pretty tightly, you're going to be fine. So I'm going to pull it tight, wrap it around, the front from the center and then smooth out from the sides. And then do that on all sides. So you want to pull it nice and tight. You don't want it gappy around the edges. So then our cover is on. It looks like this on the inside. Okay. Easy enough so far. It's all easy steps. It's just time consuming.